Bad Batch Season 3. We are going to spoil them in 5, 4,
When
3,
have we ever
2,
followed orders?
1.
Everybody dies.
Everybody dies.
It's been a while since I heard
We have
that.
not been able to say that for a while, and that felt good that we did that.
That was a refreshing thing to hear.
Flamethrower Hunter, why don't I just throw it to you? Let's cook this Bad Batch.
Okay, well, let's start with the positives. First of all, Palps is back.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Ian
That's-
McDermott, too.
The voice was great. Like, his whole presence was awesome because it really showed you, just how amazing he is and the kind of presence he carries. And he's like the only character in the show that logically should speak slow. You know what I mean? Because he's the man.
Yes.
So yeah, but didn't get to see no Force lightning. That sucks. But it was cool seeing some of his scenes. I like when we get scenes from him, just because he's an amazing voice, and I don't know, he just brings the whole presence of the dark, ominous kind of. This is where we're taking it.
Papa Palps, I mean, he does kind of connect all of Star
Thank you.
Wars.
Yeah, you got me back.
Yeah.
Every movie basically is a connection to him.
Yeah,
that's true.
The thing I love about Palps showing up for me is that for this entire 3-episode arc felt the most Star Wars to me.
Yeah.
Whenever you bring Palpatine in and the music and everything, I was
the
just
scenery, everything felt bigger suddenly.
And everything felt like it was handled so much more with care.
Yes.
That's true.
The dialogue was on point.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything, you were hanging on every word he says, and you were like, what is going to happen? And then everybody around him makes more sense. It was way better with him.
It puts everybody in their place.
Yeah.
Like the only person that would probably sass off to Palpatine would be Omega.
Yeah. So yeah, then you had the second episode was definitely the best. So it was definitely my favorite because you had the Sarlacc Pit of jungle thing of doom, whatever you want to call it, which is another pro.
Yeah.
We're getting some jungle planets, which is a big change of pace from a ball of water and a ball of sand, which
True.
So that's cool. You get to see some variation on the foliage here. So that's another cool pro. But so obviously Gonk makes it great. Shout out to Gonky.
Yes.
To me, he's like more of a member of the Bad Batch than Omega.
Boom. Exactly right.
Yep.
That's why you're my honey Naboo.
That's right. We get Crosshair's a little bit of fire back, and he's just amazing. He's by far my favorite character from the whole show. So seeing some of his scenes come back, just where he's just shooting people down, and he takes stuff off a stun. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed. Like, Omega had her stuff on stun for like the most time, but like he was just straight icing people, like the cold-hearted killer he was. That's what I love about the show.
Yeah.
Soldiers who have PTSD, especially sharpshooters, they have shaky hands from just the trigger jump. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's actually a really cool detail they added in to show the stuff he's been through, just to add more to it.
Yeah.
So
Didn't he almost die in season 2?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
He almost
did.
died in season 1.
And season 1. Yeah. He's come back from the beyond several times. So
Right. Plus the fact that, he kind of felt like he's betrayed his brothers, and even said that he's like, I belong in here. Like he's feeling the true weight of not going with the Bad Batch and sticking with his brothers. So I think he's definitely got some PTSD from that and regretting some decisions. And I think with that kind of sometimes brings those shakes. Although whenever that happened, he tried to shoot the clone commandos and then he like did his hand thing. I thought, I was like, is he trying to use the Force?
Yeah.
I was like, what is he doing?
Well, they've been injecting him with stuff.
I know. I was like, what's happening, yo?
maybe,
Yeah,
Oh, that's another valid point too. I didn't think about that.
man,
That
go.
was
My biggest pro was Hemlock parenting Omega and telling her, for once, the first time she's ever been told this, is that her actions have consequences.
Actions always have consequences.
Unfortunately, I would have liked to see her Batcher actually die and her find it dead. Like, that sounds extremely
Like the
dark. I know.
consequences of her
But she
actions.
still hasn't faced any consequences of her actions. And that's what he was saying, and that irritates me. Even though as dark as that sounds, it's how it should have went.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, he
that's the
wasn't
cookie
wrong.
cutter part of Star Wars. They can't commit to anything dark,
Right.
So
They can commit to certain things or they can't commit. The other leading. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
No, because you're right, Matt. She still made it out, and Crosshair still made it out, and Badger still made it out.
Yeah.
So like
Plot
she
armor.
was
Yeah.
she
Plot
was
armor.
sad for 5 seconds in the cell,
Right. And
but then her sister came and gave her a doll to feel better,
and then everything
and then everything went
went
good.
perfectly fine for her.
So
Yeah, seriously.
but at least she was told by an adult, and she felt the pain, and we felt her feel the result of that scolding, at least for a minute.
Yeah.
That's what Matt and I think are.
That was like the first time I was on the bad guy's side. I was
I
like,
was like, heck yeah.
reach Hemlock. I was like, she's needed this for 2 seasons. Like somebody needs to put her in her place, man. Good
right.
job putting her in her room where she belongs. Time out,
Yeah.
kid. Yeah, for sure. And that was also a huge con for me at the end. Was the fact that the Bad Batch weren't actually the ones to save her. It was her on her own, basically. With Nala Se. I was like, come on, seriously. I mean.
And
Is this
she
show
got-
the Bad Batch?
yeah.
No, it's not. It is the Omega Show. They should have renamed the show and not ever called it
I
the
wouldn't
Bad
be
Batch.
so disappointed if the show came out and said
honestly,
Omega Show.
It would make more
Yeah.
sense.
They just call it Omega.
Yeah, just call it Omega. That would have been interesting.
And then you're
sounding.
like, oh, that's the show. Don't bait and switch me.
I can't be mad at it
And
when
you-
it sucks like that.
yeah. And the funny
She's
thing
not even a
was,
defective clone.
you know what?
Right.
Yeah.
So-
True.
Well, I mean, in a way. But
Yeah.
but no.
Personality doesn't count, Dustin.
Yeah. But no, I was going to say, though, is if they would have named it the Omega Show, then we would have been happy when we got the moments with the Bad Batch instead of
Right.
being
Yes.
so
Vice
annoyed
versa.
with all the scenes with Omega.
Right. We're like, dude, did you see
You
that?
know?
The Bad Batch showed up in the Omega show.
And then we would have been like, they should have
So
called the
good.
show the Bad Batch Show. Would have been way cooler. Just get rid of Omega. Oh, man. Yeah.
Well, I did feel like these 3 episodes compared to season 2 felt like they were maybe honing in on their target audience a little bit better. Just a little bit. You know, season 2
Yeah.
was all over the place with who were they targeting? Kids, adults, men, women,
Everyone.
whoever. Yeah.
Crosshair was targeting everyone.
This one was a little bit
Right.
broader for maybe everyone. Bits
Yeah.
and pieces here and there.
Here
Yeah,
and
it's a
there.
good point.
Here and there.
We learned officially that Omega is the perfect highest midichlorian, right? Or at least
Well, that she
What did they
had
say?
the highest M count. So,
highest M count.
which means, because the whole point, I guess,
Yeah.
is what they're going for there, Mount Tantiss, which is actually based off of Legends, which I appreciate for that part. Mount Tantiss is very interesting to me because in the Thrawn trilogy, that's a huge part of that and what the Emperor set up. So they're kind of being somewhat true to that, although they're tying it into something else. So the point of Mount Tantiss, though, really was to they had these Spa'arti cylinders, is what they were called, and they were how they could make clones again. And they were always like so many games and so much Legends out there material is all about making force sensitive clones. And that's what we find out at the very end, is that Omega is a force sensitive clone. So they finally were successful, or at least Nala Se was, in making a force sensitive clone, which is very interesting. They've been doing that in Legends for a very long time, so it's not surprising to me, but it is interesting for the story. The problem I have with it, the huge problem I have with it that made me angry, is the fact that they're trying to tie it into the sequel trilogy, okay? The worst of the worst.
Yeah.
The worst part of that movie. It wasn't even just the worst movies
yeah.
in all of Star Wars.
Right.
It was the worst movie in that trilogy for a lot of reasons, but also the throwaway line, which is somehow Palpatine returned. Since they've said that,
They've been trying to
all
fix
they've
it.
been doing since they said that, and literally everybody in the universe has been making fun of them for, and we all use it as a joke now about any villain or anything coming back, somehow they return. All they're trying to do is explain how Palpatine returned. I mean, like every content they've come out with, and now they're trying to link this to somehow Palpatine returned to justify their decision in that regard. And I puked in my mouth a little bit whenever that happened.
Oh, no.
It made me angry. But Tantiss is interesting. If they can get it to the Thrawn trilogy side of things, if they introduce a character named Sabaoth, I will be very interested in that. If they do not, I will be upset still to the end of time. And my rant is at an end.
That was fantastic. That was
Let me
the best
dump a
rant
little
we've
bit more
had in a long
gasoline
time.
on that rant.
He wants some
Because what makes it all better is that they're building up this huge 50-year storyline of Palpatine being obsessed with clones and stuff just for Rey to smoke them in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
exactly.
it's like, so I guess they should take some word from Mr. Hemlock and reap what they sow and get a little bit of accountability for their actions with their terrible writing. So
like it makes more sense for Palpatine to come back as a clone for the fact that like every Legends material after has been about him transferring his essence to a clone so that he could live on forever, which is kind of following in the footsteps of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Well, then
which
where's
is what
Plagueis?
He was going, where's Plagueis? Exactly. Ironic, he couldn't save himself.
Wouldn't we have rather seen somehow Plagueis return?
I would have preferred. Okay, so but the biggest point, the biggest problem I have though too is it's the creative bankruptcy they have. Right. They are using the same thing over and over and over to get again, and they're trying to tie it together in a very flimsy, predictably annoying way, and it just is coming across as like not interesting. Are you guys still interested in Force sensitive clones at this point? They've been the villain of Rise of Skywalker, season 3 Mando. We knew this was going to happen in the first 2 seasons of Bad Batch. I mean, are you guys still interested in Force? Maybe if they actually get one out there and it's doing some damage and is actually a good villain,
I'd like to see. I'd actually like to see it,
or an army of them.
Right. Yeah. I would love to see that. That would be an amazing thing. And then maybe they fail or something. You know?
Yes,
but that would Omega just destroys them all.
But for now, let's just beat it to death with a stick because we're just going to talk about it.
Right. Exactly. So, what did they say exactly about tech? I might have been distracted.
Actually, funny enough, Wrecker was actually the one talking some sense into Hunter and saying the last time we invaded Imperial Garrison,
that's right.
He said we didn't all make it out.
Hunter, the last time we stormed an Imperial base without backup, not all of us made it out.
So that's what he was talking about with tech, which was a heavy moment. That was a little sad, and also kind of sad for the fact that Wrecker, of all people, blowing stuff up is the one who has to tell Hunter. Like with Omega, I don't feel like we've gotten a lot of character growth from her. I feel like everything's really worked out. And that's why we were like, Hemlock is actually giving her the constructive criticism she needs to become better and learn and stuff like that. Whenever a character just gets everything just works out perfectly for them in almost every way. Not every way. Obviously, she got captured and taken, so there's that. But what is she learning? She needs to be learning something along the way so she can get better, which creates character growth.
Yeah, you can only grow by suffering. That's literally the whole thing in life in general.
Yeah,
it's like all the terrible stuff that happens to you, and no matter what happens, you learn and grow from it, and that's how you become the beautiful butterfly that you are. And if you don't grow from it, you just stay in the cocoon like a loser. So yeah,
this has been Learning with Hunter.
That's right.
That's
the
next week.
The next course will cost money, so that's the only thing you get.
That's the free one.
I love it.
Put your email in this link here, and we'll send you the download.
No,
that's pretty good.
That is really
that's
good,
worth
though.
the price of admission.
It's always lurking in the background like a true
like a
Sith.
gonk.
Oh, a gonk.
Yeah.
I was going Sith.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the gonk Sith.
That's right.
The Sith gonk. That's the
Someone
true
needs to
Sith.
give him a red saber.
Yes. No, exactly. Well, thank you again for coming on. We really appreciate it, man. It's been awesome meeting you of all people here. It's been great, and everybody else in the chat. And I think we'll be seeing more Hunter potentially reviewing some more Bad Batch with us or some other fun things in the future. So as long as he's willing to come back on for more Glenn to Punishment, we will have him on. But next week we are going to be having, I want to announce it here right now, BISMO'S back, baby. BISMO is going to be back next week. It's going to be a special live stream. He's going to be back reviewing episode 4 of season 3 of The Bad Batch, and we can't wait to have him back on. It's been a long time. What a fun time we've had reviewing The Bad Batch season 3, episodes 1, 2, and 3. More hot takes to come, so keep it locked right here because we got lots of stuff coming up in the works. We appreciate every single one of you. It's Cody, damn. It's Commander Cody.
Cody, finally.
That's like her actual voice. I thought she like made herself sound younger, and I'm like, Teek!
I can't see that.
Oh, snap.
Can we turn these lights off?
Like, yeah, we can't really see the TV because it's getting a little. I think it's the.
I mean, these back lights.
You want me to shut those off?
Just shut the back ones, but leave the front ones.
It's just a glare.
I was like, look at how dark it is. Just crank it.